David Dobrik isn't entertaining, he's just surrounded by people who are willing to endanger themselves for money and fame. David Dobrik is not funny, he is just surrounded by people who have smaller platforms who are funny and are willing to do anything to make sure they have a platform. David Dobrik is not a good person, he just does good things publicly in order to make himself look good, because otherwise he would have a terrible reputation, a la Jake Paul, for harassing people and hurting the people around him. David Dobrik is essentially Joe Rogan, but not current podcast Joe Rogan, but Fear Factor Joe Rogan. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Just kidding, this video isn't over, and I don't do outros because I find them annoying and lame. Subscribe for more of my annoying jokes like that one. Before I dance my way into receiving a plethora of hate comments from the Dobrik stans, I do want to first address that this video is being made because of the work that Ethan Klein and Trisha Paytas have been doing over on their Frenemies podcast and also H3 After Dark, as well as other social medias. Those two have been putting in the work on this subject. They have been the ones raising awareness about this and putting their necks out to talk about this, and they deserve to have respect put on their names for that. Also, I don't think either of them will see this video, but I do want to apologize to both of them for last year saying that Ethan was using Trisha in order to stay relevant on YouTube. Last April, I made a video all about that, which has now been privated, and after seeing their relationship unfold and watching their business partnership grow the way it has, I fully realized that I was being a jackass, just for no reason. The commentary genre as a whole is 100% just people giving their opinions on things and pretending that they know more than they do, but I literally went out of my way to make giant leaps in logic and make assumptions about both parties, and that's just lame as heck, and I am not afraid to say my bad about it. I'm sorry I did that. I don't think either party actually cared, but in case they did, I was wrong fully, and I want to own up to that. Full on, full out, I used to think that those two were faking their rocky relationship for clout and to get more attention on themselves, but over the past couple weeks, I have completely done a 180 on both of them, and straight up, I actually like their dynamic, which is weird because I used to have a hard time watching them separately, but together, it's magic. It just worked. But back on topic, like I said, those two have been doing the most in terms of shedding light onto this situation, and they have been working overtime on this, and it's because of them that I am making this video. And now, my sweet little titty twisters, let's talk about David, shall we? For those of you who don't know, this is David Dobrik. David started his career on Vine in 2013 and quickly grew his platform on there using the Jake Paul Team 10 method. David was funny on his own for sure in the Vine kind of way, and he did grow a portion of his audience organically, but he realized pretty early on that if he collaborated and surrounded himself with people who also had large audiences, he could easily cross-promote and grow his following a lot quicker. Is there anything wrong with that? No, not really, but it does call into question the nature of your friendships when you are only friends in order to make content and therefore make money, which is why I have almost zero collabs on my channel, because that just reeks of trust issues that I don't need. Again, it was the same thing that Jake Paul did, but nobody cared when David was doing it, simply because David wasn't inciting riots in his neighborhoods by inviting fans to his house and being an all-around insecure chode. Like straight up, it's just very easy to look good next to the FBI's most wanted, they raided my home, COVID is a hoax, Jake Paul. Pretty simple. Cut to February of 2015 when David decided to start his YouTube channel. I say decided as if Vine didn't just die and leave his content essentially homeless, but he made the move to transfer his comedy stylings onto YouTube and very quickly gained widestream success. It helped once again that he was attached to other massively popular creators also from Vine, like his then girlfriend Liza Koshy, Alex Hirsch, and more. He also made the decision to not move into long form content, instead choosing to only make content that stayed below the 5-minute mark, which meant that only the best, funniest, most shocking moments stayed in the vlogs, instead of what is normal for vlog content, which is the most boring content on YouTube. There, I said it. Vlogs are boring, and there is a reason why most YouTubers don't have reality shows and don't have wider audiences, because no one wants to see a time lapse of you editing or how you make your coffee. That goes triple for you guys doing undisclosed sponsorships. You are boring, but also breaking the law. Anyway, back on topic. David quickly grew his channel, and from his womb, he birthed what is commonly referred to as the Vlog Squad. Members include, according to this article that was written in 2019 by 17 magazine, a human person who is constantly on the trending page regardless of the view counts, Liza Koshy, not Drake from Drake and Josh Peck, David's assistant and longtime friend, Natalie Noel, a guy who constantly talks about having threesomes with girls 3 decades younger than him and weirds me the fuck out, Jason Nash, a person who I only know as being a guy constantly accused of having issues with alcohol, Zayn Hijazi, a girl who tried to sell merch glamorizing anxiety and then was called out for doing it and said, "LOL, my bad, oopsie," Karina Koff, and the guy who I legitimately thought made the Chicken Little Vine, but apparently isn't that guy Matt King. Who did the Chicken Little Vine if not this guy? Can someone please tell me? Those are just a few members of the vlog squad because it's really far-reaching, and because of the sheer girth of that unit and the fact that they were all constantly cross-promoting each other, each member quickly grew to have a sizable fan base all on their own, including, once again, Jason Nash, which really concerns me based on how interested he is in girls that are literally 3 decades younger than him.
When Tana came over, David was throwing out ideas for the video, and one of the suggestions was that Jason and Tana would hook up. Tana laughs it off, and the two go shopping. Jason, who is 45 years old, later tried to kiss then 19-year-old Tana, only to have her pull away. There was even a clip in David's vlog where Jason offers to buy David a Ferrari if he can get Tana to hook up with them.
Like, for some reason, the guy who is constantly talking about wanting to be with girls who just turned 18, him having a really young fan base, does not sit right in my soul. It does not sit right in my heart. Because David made the decision to keep his vlog short and sweet, put sweet in quotations because they're not sweet, they're dangerous, and he's genuinely putting people in danger, but okay. Because he made the decision to keep his vlog short and sweet and was constantly surrounded by funny people doing funny things, every vlog he made had to top the next one. It wasn't enough just to hang out in a video and enjoy each other's company. He had to up the ante every time, just like another YouTuber, Jake Paul. And just like Jake Paul, he did this by starting fires in his backyards and genuinely putting everyone in danger all the time for views and money. I am not exaggerating, I am not kidding, I'm not being facetious when I say that. In looking into this idiot's content for the first time, because fun fact, I've never watched David, I've never cared to watch him. He doesn't seem like an interesting person. He's just a guy. I stumbled on this video from 2017 where David is literally starting a fire in his backyard the same way Jake Paul did. And guess what? No one gave a shit. No one called this out. It has plenty of likes, barely any dislikes, and I am so confused. I want to say I'm shocked, but again, it's kind of like a compare and contrast thing. This happened in 2017. Jake Paul had just made It's Everyday Bro. Alyssa Violet had just talked about how he was a genuinely abusive asshole, and no one was critiquing David because Jake was obviously so much more obnoxious. David was starting fires in his backyard. David was putting people in danger. But why talk about the guy who's threatening to tase his dwarf friend in his vlogs to make him taller when you can make a video about how Jake Paul got fake married to Erica Costello and get 10 million views easy peasy lemon squeezy? I am now, seriously, after watching some of the content that he has put out, debating titling this video David Dobrik is Jake Paul light, because he seriously is. In just looking at his content for the first time, I'm confused about this. Like, what is going on? He somehow wasn't called out for endangering people's lives because he's somehow more likable than Jake, which is kind of like saying an alligator is more likable than a different alligator who just makes shitty diss tracks. Like, it's Jesus, my mind. Only I could come up with that simile, which was just so brilliant. I am top tier right now. But seriously, how was this not called out sooner? Here are the list of things that David Dobrik has done and put onto his channel willingly, which, remember, his main target audience. He is doing this all for literal children. The same way Jake Paul was influencing children and being genuinely terrible, David is doing the same thing. Threatening to tase multiple of his friends, making fun of traits that people could not change about themselves, starting a fire in his own backyard, putting a giant python in his girlfriend's car, building off of that, his habit of putting dangerous animals on and around his friends in order to prank them, because nothing says comedy like death. Doing a dangerous foam experiment in his backyard to make elephant toothpaste that was insanely dangerous to his neighbors and the people surrounding him. Continuing to platform a man who was called out for dating a literal minor. Hi Brandon, what's fucking good, man? Paying his friends to drink piss for content. Throwing darts at his friends because nothing says content like causing injury to a person. Just ask the woman who killed her husband on accident because they wanted to make a YouTube video where she shot him through a book. His creepy 40-year-old friend using a drill to rip off hair of his chest, which is dangerous. Sexualizing literally every female they come in contact with. Putting racial jokes onto every minority that he comes into contact with. Hiding in his friend's room when he supposedly is trying to get intimate with a woman, because nothing says fun like not having consent to filming someone. Blindfolding his friends and having them kiss kiss members of the same gender without consent, which is sexual assault. Blindfolding his friends and having them kiss members of the opposite gender without their consent, which again is sexual assault. Taking away consent from his friends as a fun, relatable game that he does constantly. Injuring his friends for content on purpose. Incentivizing genuinely destructive behavior like drug and alcohol abuse on camera for children to watch. Doing undisclosed sponsorships and promotions with celebrities like Justin Bieber and the Jenners. Filming people despite them stating they are uncomfortable multiple times over. Harassing minority vlog squad members with racist and ableist jokes and skits that put him in uncomfortable situations, and later having those people have to deal with the harassment from the fans. Having his creepy 40-year-old friend sexually assault various people on camera as a joke. Having that same friend talk about how he wants to assault people on camera as a joke. Rewarding the people who play along with his gross behaviors with money and cars, because nothing says "you're doing great, hun" like a rewarding shitty behavior. Throwing away friendships with the people who tell him they are uncomfortable and replacing them in the group with little to no explanation. That was my doorbell. Okay, I should not have opened that because I'm still recording. And that is just the list I was able to make by watching 20 of his videos, as well as watching the interviews that Seth and Big Nick did on H3H3. Straight up, I found disturbing and weird clips in every video I watched of his, which should not be the case. Like, this is videos that have millions upon millions of views. I should not be able to find stuff that is this uncomfortable that went this unnoticed. He's constantly putting either one of his friends into genuinely dangerous and uncomfortable positions for profit, or promoting gross and destructive behaviors to his impressionable young audience who idolizes him in every single upload. And that's what kills me about this entire thing, because a lot of his defenders who are actual adults and, not the minors who cannot be held accountable for standing a gross person, a lot of the adults talking about the gross things he's doing are trying to state that it's fine, that this is normal, because everything happening is just a joke. He's just being funny. It's not real, it's not personal, it's just a little comedy to spice up his vlogs and make people happy. They keep saying that everyone is just taking this too seriously. We're all just being spoiled sports and just being too dramatic about all of this. Well, here's the thing, my guys, the adults who are defending him, if you are still watching, which I doubt you are, it stops being funny when you are filming sexual assaults and laughing at them and posting them and making the concerted effort to put them on your channel. It stops being funny when you are mocking minorities and forcing them into uncomfortable situations where their race is the butt of the joke. It stops being funny when you are legitimately bribing all of your friends, put that in quote, friends, to participate in dangerous stunts where they get actually hurt because it'll be great for the views. It'll be great clickbait. It stops being funny when multiple people leave the group because they wanted to injure themselves because of what you did and how your audience and you made them feel. Bretman Rock said it best when he said, if you can't make content by yourself, if you can't be entertaining or interesting by yourself, then you are not a star. And the fact that David Dobrik needs, not wants, but needs to be surrounded by yes men and people who are willing to hurt themselves to be in 15 seconds of one of his shitty uploads is so telling. And frankly, I think it's gross as hell. In summation, fuck David Dobrik. And stan Psych IRL, because last year she made a video where she literally predicted that David was going to be canceled soon. And also, stan her because she seems like a genuinely fun and good person who deserves the world. 10 out of 10, love her. With that being said, I think I'm going to peace out now. Let me know what you guys think and feel about David and his disgusting friend Jason Nash in the comments down below. Do you think everyone is just simply being dramatic about David, or do you think that maybe possibly him refusing to respect other people's boundaries is kind of sort of a bad thing, and him promoting that to minors, to impressionable kids, is not great? Like, nothing says bad vibes more than a guy getting away with pushing, it's just bad. It's just bad in my opinion. This should not be what we're teaching our kids. And yikes. Let me know all of that and more in the comments down below. But with that, I'm out of here. Later. I clicked the wrong button.